Hi, Joy. I'm very excited to be here on this stage. Like it was like just a year ago when I sat over there and watched Avenue Q, and now I'm just got to go backstage. It was really amazing, and of course the conference is really amazing also. So thank you very much for being with us, Joy. Joy is a general manager of digital video for Condé Nast Entertainment. Of course, Condé Nast is the publisher of such high-power brands as GQ, Vogue, The New Yorker, and Reddit. Vanity Fair, so many. Like, I mean, basically, most magazine brands that everybody knows, probably Condé Nast is behind them. And Joy's division is tasked with providing video platform technical support for all the video activities of all of Condé Nast brands. And you're actually not, you're sort of a weird bird inside Condé Nast because you're not a media content making guru. You're actually like sort of a startup, a technology company inside a big media organization.
Yes. So about 4.5 years ago, I think the folks who run Condé Nast took a look at the landscape, and they thought that they understood that the way people would communicate would change over time, and what would be meaningful for folks to relate to in terms of content would be rapidly changing over time. And they looked at the rapid resurgence of video. Remember, this was sort of, you know, just absolutely the heyday of YouTube, I would say, about 4 years ago. And they thought, you know, we are fabulous communicators. We are probably the best communicators of content really in the world. But we don't make a lot of video. How do we best gear up? How fast can we get into this market? How can we get big enough, fast enough to be relevant? And I think in a very smart decision, they basically formed a startup within the Condé Nast system. They put us, I was not there quite yet at the time of the founding, but they put the startup in a separate building. Looked a little digital, there were ping pong tables, there was raw wood. That is not what Condé Nast offices generally look like. Funded us, basically. We're a very extremely, you know, pretty well funded organization. And told us, go ahead, work with these 22 fabulous brands, again, the best communicators, the best content creators probably on the planet. Go make video that's relevant to an audience, make it digital, make it play on all platforms, go do this.
And you came from Condé Nast from the tech world, you were a partner at Gotham.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was a venture capitalist. I started Dailymotion in the US, sold it to France Telecom, and immediately after that entered the venture world where I was looking at many startups, obviously. I think there are a couple people probably from the venture world in this audience.
And how was it like going from tech company, you know, Silicon Valley and all the Silicon Valley culture into the media world, very different culture, very different dynamics of in terms of financial incentive, and how was it difficult?
It was definitely a transition. I would say the fact that Condé Nast Entertainment really does, or has in the past, I would say, because we're evolving now, kind of lived its own life as a startup within Condé Nast, using its own metrics for success. I think that enabled the transition to be not as dramatic as I think it would have been. We were able basically, and you just heard Facebook, we were able to move fast and break things basically, and in a way that I think is really unusual for a large company. And we went ahead and we did that. And I think, you know, we've grown an enormous amount. We generate about 4.5 billion video views a year from our brands. I think that growth is in large measure due to the fact that we have created basically a startup within a large company.
I think most media companies at this point is a pretty good handle on how to do video and how to deliver video. But right now we are seeing a new kind of video, a new kind of content creating platform coming into the market, talking about VR and AR. Condé Nast is, of course, a pioneer in that field. Can you talk about how this is going to change video and how should media companies be prepared for the change?
I'm going to take it even a step further back. If you look at the video landscape, we work in, you know, we trade in our brands. Our brands are amongst the biggest in the world. it is no secret that video is the fastest, most engaged kind of unit of the internet, and it travels everywhere. And we purposefully have built a very, very large distribution network that includes Facebook, YouTube, some of the war horses of the internet like AOL. I was actually very early at AOL as well. We distribute on all of those platforms. We have learned an enormous amount about just that. Forget AR and VR for the moment. Go back to really just the distribution of video off our own content platforms and into other places where our users are, and how we communicate best and how we tailor that message in that video and the construct of the video so that it's relevant to someone who, again, mentioned thumb-stopping content was mentioned immediately prior to this. How do we get to that thumb-stopping moment when a user will actually engage with our video and engage with our message? And we do that extremely well now. I think it is an organization that has been built over the last 4 years that really thinks about every platform as we're making a video and thinks about how to kind of slice and dice the video experience for the user so that it will be relevant to that platform. I think after that really initial learning, now we're coming into a world where there are literally different ways for users, even outside the in addition to the platforms, to engage with video. Those include VR, for example. We have led the market in storytelling VR. We produced a piece of content with the producer the director of Born Identity, Doug Lyman. We kind of broke all records in terms of the consumption of a piece of storytelling VR content on the internet. So I think we are kind of looking at the future and thinking about ways that our users can interact with our content in kind of augmented ways. I think AR offers an amazing opportunity, particularly for marketers. You have to remember, we are, for the most part, there's some exception in ad-supported business. We think a lot about how marketers can engage with our content through video. I think AR will be an amazing tool for marketers to use to engage with their users, to get reactions from their audience. And we are looking extremely closely at companies that participate in the AR ecosystem to help us on that journey.
Do you think it's already time for like smaller brands, smaller media companies to get on the AR VR bandwagon, or is it like still a playing ground for like big companies with lots of resources that can experiment and can afford to try and fail, and other companies maybe you should just wait 2 years to see where this field goes?
A lot of money is going into VR. I think there was over $1 billion invested in VR last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is, I think, going to become a more normal user experience, the VR experience, not necessarily in headset, but maybe more the 360 experience, I think is much more relevant, much easier for the user to access. I think it would behoove smaller companies to have a strategy. If they are making content, they need to be thinking about all the platforms that it's going to be seen on and all the ways it's going to be experienced in VR, with an AR experience. All that is extremely relevant, I think, to the smallest of companies.
Even like Israeli newspapers. Yeah. Another element we talked about, you talked about you using your platform is AI, and AI is not the first thing you think when you think about video distribution. Can you tell us how you use AI?
Again, we are very focused on helping our corporate marketing partners, our clients, our advertising clients, get an appropriate message out to the right user at the right time and in the right experience. One thing we're thinking a lot about is shoppable video. I think there are probably some companies in the audience who are working in shoppable video right now. I think AI, a layer of AI onto video technology provides a great opportunity, great potential shopping opportunity. I think we are going to be looking at this very closely over the next year, and we'd actually love to meet companies that are engaged. I've met a number of them. I am quite certain, given the background of many Israelis in the army and everything else, I'm quite certain that you guys can help us with AI technology.
Well, Yes.
May I say, I just want to say a couple of things about Condé Nast Entertainment just for a moment, if that's okay with you. So again, formed as a startup, now delivering 4.5 billion views. I think a trend that we are seeing, which I'd love for you to ask me if I'm missing anything, a trend we are seeing is the movement, the slow shift of user attention from TV to digital video. We are basically, at this point in time, delivering TV-like audiences in terms of scale with the relevance of digital, the targeting power of digital. I think this is a trend that we will continue to see. Users moving from TV experience, lean back experience, to digital video, both in a lean forward and in a lean back on-demand experience.
What will be...
Whoa, that's nasty.
Okay. We'll do it 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. What will be the next wave of innovation in video?
I am pretty bullish on AI as an innovative area for video. I think we who make content for a living, we need to be able to speak to our audience in a relevant manner and have our marketers come on board with us. And I think AI will provide us that opportunity.